Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is your boy AJ Woodson. I got a special guest today, someone who inspired me. MC goes by the name of Amazing A. He put together a really great documentary, the legends of Long Island, the legends of underground Long Island hip hop, and he included JVC in there, which we greatly appreciate because there's a lot of documentaries about Long Island hip hop that we are not included, even though we made the record Strong Island. So let me introduce my brother, Archie Snowden, goes by the name of Amazing A. Hold on, I got the wrong screen. There we go. What's up, my brother?
AJ. First of all,
Yeah.
thank you, man. But I hate to hear it. I'm laughing because I'm like, finally, I'm going to give JVC Force as well as everybody else, but JVC Force the stage that they've been craving for a long time and they should have had. So when you say something like, there've been a lot of documentaries out there, blah blah blah, but we haven't been included, that just disturbs me.
Right. There's been a lot of articles, and I don't have no problem calling out names. There's Newsday had 5 or 6 articles on Long Island hip hop. One was called Strong Island Hip Hop, and we were not even mentioned.
That's some crazy stuff there.
Yeah.
That's some crazy
stuff.
I
mean, it comes with, I understand when they do documentaries and stuff, a lot of times they pull from videos, music videos, and we really didn't have a music video. That's still a weak excuse, but I know sometimes that has a lot to do with it. And then, even the people in it don't mention us. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's just crazy. So anyway, I say that to say, not really to diss everybody, give you props because you put together this powerful presentation. You're telling the story of the underground legends, the ones that came before. I explained, and I think I said it to you because you included me in it. While Cold Crush and all those groups were doing the thing before recorded records, the same thing was going on outside in areas like Long Island and where I am in the 914. And you included that, and you tell that whole story. And that's what I greatly appreciate. Yes, I greatly appreciate it. I'm gonna play the trailer and then we're gonna get right into it. So here's the trailer to the documentary.
DJs and rappers, especially from Suffolk County, Long Island, were treated with almost no respect from the 5 boroughs in New York City. No one really paid us any attention. They didn't even count us in. They still don't count us in.
Hip-hop was an inner city thing that kind of grew outwards. And, Long Island was one of the outer bounds of where it grew to.
1, 2, 3, 4, hit it!
For the first 25 years of hip-hop, when hip-hop began, it was controlled by the 4 boroughs.
Hello.
If you weren't from one of those 4 boroughs, New York looked at you as, well, you can't rap.
We could get on the mic and go with the best of them, and we knew it.
Brentwood, Patchogue, Bellport, Coram, Gordon Heights,
Riverhead, Southampton, Bridgehampton.
we had the city dudes coming out here.
So I'm glad I found that trailer because, and one of the main reasons I'm doing this, on the Black Westchester platform is because you will be doing a screening here in Westchester on August 23rd, and I wanted to let everybody know, you know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
I wanted to have you on so we can promote the heck out of that and hopefully fill the place up. So what made you, first I want to say rest in peace. I'll give you props. You got Gene in there. You got Biz in there. Both those brothers are not here anymore. So I'm glad that you were able to document them, you know what I'm saying, while they were alive. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
yeah. And I don't know if anybody else has passed since then, but those two in the trailer I see,
Yep.
So talk about what made you do this. What inspired you? What brought this on that you put this together? That you felt the need to tell this story?
Well, as a journalist, as a filmmaker, you get a chance to watch all these documentaries. As you mentioned earlier, you see the missing pieces. You see the conversations being had after those documentaries, and those conversations continue to be had today. The recording artists, what they talk about, and they mainly talk about the 5 boroughs in New York City. When it comes to the creation of rap music, before it became hip hop in the 70s and early 80s, but they never talk about Long Island. And if they talk about Long Island, they're talking about way after that. And when Kool Herc and all the rest of them, these guys and Pete DJ Jones and everybody that inspired each other there in the Five Boroughs, we were doing it at the same time here on Long Island. But
Right.
we have been left out of that conversation. So that's what inspired me. And above all of that, I was there. I lived it. I am one of those pioneers. So I just use my right.
Right. I've often said, I've said it to you here again. I've said it to you in person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I don't know, it was like in 8th grade, because I came back to Mount Vernon in 10th grade. So it's like 8th grade maybe for me. They had a MC battle or whatever, and you won. And I was telling you the story, like it was on the other side of town when we was walking back to the New Deal. A bunch of us, we was like talking about how dope you was, and then your rhymes, and going over everything that had happened. The same way we do like a Cold Crush tape or something, you know what I'm saying? And we was talking about it, and it was that moment when I seen you win that battle that made me, like, rapping was something I always just did, but it made me take it serious and want to excel and go further with it. When I saw you win that contest,
and that time, I'm sorry to cut you off, AJ. I'm sorry. And that time that you mentioned was before it really started to jump off. That's when it was in the neighborhoods, and we were just kids doing it. You know,
absolutely. So talk about some of the groups that are in this that people will learn about, that they need to know about.
When you say groups, I'm sure you mean
groups, DJs,
crews.
artists. Yeah.
We were called the crew.
Crews. Right.
And the crew, for all those folks who don't know, is the equivalent to having a road crew, a band having a road crew to pick up all the equipment and carry it and help them set up. And not only had to have some drive to be able to help people do that, help the DJ do that. You also had to have some talent to be in that crew, right? You had to be. Oftentimes there were 4 DJs and 1 rapper, right? Because nobody really wanted to rap back then because they didn't think they were good enough to do it. So those crews, it all started out on Long Island, and people can dispute that because, there's no commonality when it comes to rap music, right? And hip hop. We always want to dispute, oh, no, he wasn't first. Well, I can give you the journalistic point of view with this, the journalism point of view. Nelson PR came from the Bronx in the early 1970s and was DJing in all the clubs. Then he saw the Mechanic out in the eastern part of Long Island and DJ Pearl, and he decided to do what they were doing, and they was taking the equipment and setting it up. And this is the mid 1970s, the same exact time when DJ Kool Herc and all the rest of them were putting their equipment out. Decided to take it and do it out in the parks like they were doing. And in Nassau County, it was Spectrum. This is not Spectrum City that became Public Enemy. This is the original Spectrum RYC, Roosevelt Youth Center. In the early 1970s, they were all together doing it all together, and they were forming that and creating those crews and forming the path of hip hop. So those are the 4 major that this film is centered around. The rest of us, we were all just kids following those big kids in the neighborhood. We followed them. You mentioned Eugene Groove Allen was one of the big kids in my neighborhood. That was one of the first rappers in Suffolk County, one of the baddest ones anyway. People are going to dispute that, but that's what I saw. This is way before Rakim. There was DJ Cool Breeze and the Love Brothers. There's the CBS crew with DJ J1, which I was involved in. Out of DJ, and if I could just a little bit more to that, Roadrunner in Central Islip, where you come from, DJ Roadrunner, 1974. Then it was DJ. What was it? It was Unlimited Power. Sorry,
Unlimited Power. Yes,
it was Unlimited Power, and then it was DJ Spontaneous and his crew, and then you guys followed them.
Right. Well, and it was Midnight Express. Can't forget them.
Midnight Express. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I was trying to think of Midnight Express because Midnight Express and Unlimited Power were kind of around the same time. But I think Unlimited Power started first. In my neighborhood, before I moved to Central Islip, there was Nelson PR, DJ Chubby. And Chubby had Derwin D and Eugene Groove Allen. After Eugene Groove Allen, or right at the same time, was the CBS crew, my crew. After us was Biz and EPMD.
Right.
So that's what the film is about. The film is about, it serves as a cultural time capsule to give everybody, to give us the props that's, like you mentioned earlier, to give us the props that we have long sought.
So I was born in Mount Vernon, and my parents bought a house in 1973 in the American Estates, which was referred to as the New D, New Development. And the crews at that time, like I would still go back to Mount Vernon for summers and holidays. So I lived on the borderline of the Bronx. I would end up bringing those Cold Crush and those early tapes back. But on a day-to-day, it was Unlimited Power. It was Midnight Express, first and foremost. Then it was Double Exposure, with Spontaneous and all of them that I was closely aligned to. I was never really an official member, but I was like, I'd help carry the records in so I could, get into the party and get on the mic, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I worked my way on the mic a few times. You know what I'm saying? I'd be there carrying the crates in and carrying the crates out, and I'd get in the party free. So so that's how. So that's how I was inspired by all of them, and then like I said, but it's like those were our Midnight Express and Unlimited Power were our Cold Crush, our Fantastic Romantic, our what I'm saying, the Herculoid. That was who it was at the same time in that area doing the same thing. And sometimes it was in the park, and sometimes like on Branch Ave where I live, we blocked off 2 streets and we would have like a block party, like a big block party. You know what I'm saying? And everybody would come from all over, come out there and we would rock, and it'd be like 2 different crews on different sides. It was a beautiful thing. So we had that, and then we had a lot more backyard type parties. Then you know what I'm saying? Because we weren't really allowed to do like spaces like clubs and stuff, and most of us were too young for clubs. So we would get to like a YMCA maybe, or the Knights of Columbus Hall or something. Like those would let us have space. They would let us have that space because we could, we couldn't get in clubs, and we couldn't get clubs was letting us in, like to play that kind of music. So
that's right, sir.
And it's important. And I tell people, so I tell people like, because I came back to high school from Mount Vernon. So I went to school with Heavy D and Albie Shore and Pete Rock's younger, and Eddie F was actually a DJ in a crew that I was in. And so if hip hop was like country, I got like dual citizenship. Long Island and Central Islip and Mount Vernon, like both of them contributed to who I am. You know what I'm saying? So I still rep Mount Vernon. I'm in Mount Vernon right now, but I have to give so much love to Strong Island.
Yeah.
And what you're doing to document it is a beautiful.
But you can say where you're from. Mount Vernon. Bad props to them, Westchester up there, but you're ours. Okay. When JVC.
So
right.
The funny thing is. But the funny thing, so when we were getting ready to do the video music box experience at Eisenhower Park last year, Jeff Red lives in Mount Vernon. So Jeff Red called me because he was also going to perform. And he was like, yo, now I know you did the record about Long Island, and I know you claim but remember, you represent Mount Vernon. Don't go out there and embarrass us. Like, so he was saying the same thing to me. So I just both sides claim me, so it's a beautiful thing.
Props to Jeff Red for giving you big ups to Mount Vernon. But I remember
like, don't go out there embarrassing us because you're not good.
Yeah. We don't remember a song that says, living in Westchester, who the hell am I? No. We living in CI, who the. So props to Jeff Red and Mount Vernon and up, so come on. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So I got my start. So I would go back. I think after high school, I went back home, and that's when the other 2 they're younger, and they were starting to make a name. And the cats in our neighborhood was basically telling me, you got to check them out. And then I went to a house party they were doing, and me and B were rhyming back and forth, and everybody said we sounded good today. We were making demos and working on routines. So, so that's kind of like how that happened. So I really entered the game with Long Island, like, even though, so I rep, I got the shirt on now. I rep Strong Island. So, I rep Strong Island. Yeah, I rep Strong Island when I go out.
That's where you're from. And when I mentioned to the people in film festivals, including talking to Tom Needham today, and when I say that we have people that are going to perform, they go, "Is JVC Force going to be there?" I said, "Yes, they'll be there, Tom. Trust me."
I text them too to find out the date because I needed to know the date. So this and I want to. We can go everywhere, but I want to make sure we talk about the 23rd. So what's happening on the 23rd? What's going down? This is the screening, because you're doing the film festival stage of things. You did You did one in Long Island. I missed that. I think you got one coming up in Harlem. And for everybody, which is the core audience of the people that read Black Westchester, and the 914, you're doing one in Dobbs Ferry on the 23rd. So
yes, sir.
Talk about that.
So coming up on August 23rd, that's a Sunday, August 23rd, 2:30 p.m., the Long Island Underground Legends of Hip Hop will be premiering in Westchester County at Dobbs Ferry. It's called Look Dine-In Cinemas on Hamilton Street in Dobbs Ferry. Tickets are extremely cheap because they want you to come and see it. We get a lot of play for that, and we're looking forward to that. This is one of the, and I call it the film, and I made sure that New York, Long Island had the film first before it starts to head overseas in the other parts of the United States. I wanted to make sure that New York got it first. So, and New York is really, letting us in. So We're Long Islanders, but they're taking us everywhere. Harlem, Dobbs Ferry, before it comes back to Long Island. But so August 23rd at 2:30 p.m. at the Look-In Dine-In Cinemas.
And for all my 914 heads, my group JBC Force is in it. Me and B-Love are in it. And after the screening, I will be on the panel. I guess we'll be discussing the movie or whatever.
Absolutely.
So anybody who can come, it supports me, always says I never do nothing in Westchester. This is the opportunity to come support.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And come check us out. But I'm telling you, it's a really great film.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn, like, for real hip hop heads want to know some stuff that happened in Long Island that you really didn't know about. Like you didn't really know. I guarantee you're going to learn something. You're going to be like, wow, I didn't know they was doing it like that out there.
Yeah.
You're going to leave with that kind of feel.
It challenges mainstream hip hop gatekeepers. The New York City gatekeepers who traditionally attribute the birth of the culture solely to New York City. People don't realize that we were doing it out there, but you never see, as you mentioned in documentaries earlier, that don't represent you the way you should. Forget it. Long Island's buried. They've had their foots on our throats ever since this whole thing started in the 1970s. So it's not so deeply rooted. It's right there. It was like right there in front of you the whole entire time.
Right. And controversial. This is me talking, not my brother. When I went to elementary school in Central Islip, Long Island, when we had history class, they opened up the map and they taught us that Long Island had 4 counties: Nassau, Suffolk, Queens, and King. But Brooklyn people don't tell Brooklyn people they live in Long Island because you might punch you in the face. But it's when you look at the body of Long Island, it's an island. And all 4 of those, we don't cross bridges to go to Queens or Brooklyn.
No great big
Brooklyn
body.
and Queens don't cross bridges to come into what we call Long Island. It's one body of land.
As I said in that trailer that you played, the beginning of the trailer says, if you're leaving Amityville, Long Island, the Queensboro, New York City is only 20 minutes away. Yet the New York City folks, especially the people in rap music, treated us with no respect, like we didn't exist.
Right.
20 minutes away from our house.
Right, absolutely. And we used to go down to the Coliseum in Jamaica, get all our gear, and Shirt Kings down there and get our shirts done and all that stuff. We was there. And if you listen, a lot of your Queens rappers talk about Long Island. There's so many references about being on the LIE or you know what I'm saying, on the Southern State. You listen to Prodigy lyrics. You listen to a lot of Queens rappers, Tribe Called Quest. Listen to some Tribe. There, it was right there. So they were always in, Suffolk, Nassau, and Queens are attached. The way Mount Vernon and the Bronx is out here. You know what I'm saying? So you just drive it and you ain't going through no tolls or nothing. You just drive it and you're in Queens. Now you're in Nassau.
Never paid a toll.
Then you're in Suffolk, huh?
I never paid a toll to get to Queens or Brooklyn.
Right.
It's always 20 minutes from my house. Here's the Bronx. Here's Brooklyn. Here's Queens. Here's Staten Island. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Westchester. And what is that? You go for days. Long Island, right?
Right.
What did they think was going on out there?
Right. It's a very long island. The name is not just a cool name. It is literally a long island. Like,
right.
I think it says it takes 2 hours or so to get from one end to the other. Like it's a very long island.
Nice beaches too.
Yeah. Beautiful beaches. That I spent a lot of time at the marina. That was always an area for me to think and write and chill. And I used to draw too. Like the water. It was just like there was water everywhere. So we I used to always be at the water.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but you know, so the groups that you highlight is important because they influence my group, they influence EPMD, they influence Public Enemy, they influence, you know, De La came a little later, so they were influenced by us, but they were influenced by some of that early stuff too. They influenced Biz. They influenced the people that you know that when you think of Long Island now, they were influenced by these cats that are in this documentary.
Every last one of them.
Yeah.
Every last one of them. As I said, you know, I was there. I was one of the first ever rappers in Suffolk County, and you know, I was everywhere, and I remember all of them to this day. And I'm glad that Eric Sermon and Parrish give me and the other rappers credit to this day, because that's the way it started.
Right. And then K Solo's in it, another centralized slip. He's in it, and I think he was in that battle. He was in that battle you was in. He was in the MC contest. You got your son or somebody behind you.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
No.
I'm sorry.
Once we start doing the show at the house, like, you know, my partner, his wife would come, his granddaughter come sit on his lap, or I'm at my sister's house. The big Rottweiler want to be on the screen. It would come up to the sniffing the screen.
I always try to blur the background because of that. I do a lot of media.
Yeah. But it's real though. I mean, it is what it is though. But yeah. But you would the battle that I was talking about that I was influenced by, K Solo was also in that battle.
Yes, he was.
No, he'd been putting it down for a while, like, you know, long before you ever heard a record from him.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, he and if I have to tell my age, he was the youngest guy in the contest. He was the young dude that we had to look out for.
I think he's my age. I think we were in school.
Is he really? Okay. Yeah,
so I just turned 60, so he's around my age, a year or two up or down. And he's not older. He's either my age or a year younger. We were the same grade together. So
yeah.
And CI and Cordello and Reed, we were in the same grade.
Yeah. And I never knew that, really.
Yeah. So, and then, you know, I'm happy that, of course, I'm happy to be documented. And I'm honored. I'm honored that, you know, you know, I never take nothing for granted. Like, people give us credit for the anthem.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. And I appreciate that. But, you know, it was inspired by so many other things. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you know, it's good to be included, because before we made the record, you had people from Long Island that you didn't know were from Long Island. Since Eric B was from Queens, and some people say Brooklyn, but I think Queens, people thought that's where Rakim was from. Public Enemy was just so big, people didn't just say Long Island with them. You know what I'm saying? And then you had Disco Richie from what was that?
Divine Sounds.
Yes, for the Divine 5 + 5 = 10, and we're Divine Sounds, and we're back again. People didn't know he was from Brentwood. People didn't know that Prince Paul, the DJ for Stetsasonic, was from Amityville, because Stetsasonics from Brooklyn. Right. So a lot of people were not repping. I mean, Rakim did say he's roughing up the break New York from Long Island.
That's the only time he said it.
The only island I was on was the Strong One. And then Chuck created the term Strong Island, which we then used in the chorus of our song.
Right.
But before that, no one was even mentioning. And then once we did Strong Island, I felt, and we're told, that it gave it an identity, and more people were repping. And, you know, some people were like, yo, we can really do it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, they felt Long Island could be a place where, and I was told by some labels, they started looking for groups from Long Island after that too. Yeah. When they wasn't really looking for, A&Rs wasn't really looking in Long Island for rappers when they were signing people. So
yeah.
So
well, we couldn't say in the early part of our recording, we couldn't say we were from Long Island because we didn't get the deals that the city guys got. Even though we had more focused talent, meaning we grew up on rock and roll music, right? As well as the other R&B and rap stuff. But all of our, like your songs and with, you know, that includes EPMD and Rakim, they all had a rhythmic R&B feel to it. But that's how we were raised, as opposed to, you know, grass versus the concrete. But we weren't allowed to say we were from Long Island. I got an offer back in 1980 when some popular rappers were coming out at the same time. They offered them 20, 30 times more than what they offered me, even though I knew I can do, you know, I can hold my own.
Wow.
because I was from Long Island.
Now, artists that were starting to make a name for themselves, they all came to Long Island to perform. I remember the Treacherous 3 came, and I don't know if Double Exposure was performing or Spontaneous was DJing, the event before they performed and after.
Mm-hmm.
And Kumo D was impressed by Spontaneous. And like, yo, just in case what's the name can't go on the road, here's my number. We might need you. And I think Spontaneous was scared of success. Because he was a big fish in a little pond. I think he never called Mo D. Like he never. But he could have actually been going out on the road with Treacherous 3 at some points when Easy
And,
Lee
and he didn't want to be involved in this either. He's one of the first approach. Yeah.
Sometimes you got really talented people. They have their little quirks and stuff. He's a good dude. Hung out with him. I know him. I went to school. His sister's my age. I went to school with his sister. He's a couple years older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we had some really dope DJs and really dope MCs. Like people had come from Brooklyn visiting or the Bronx visiting a relative or something, thinking that it was corny out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then got ate up in a battle. What I'm saying? Got ate up by a long. Now they didn't go back home talking about it, but they got ate up. They got ate up by some MCs in Long Island.
That's right.
And then they started, but it wasn't the respect though. It wasn't like you thought of Long Island as the country. You thought of Long Island as It is suburban. But you thought of it like rich people. Like everybody in Long Island's not rich. But you thought of it like rich people, you got houses, because we didn't have a lot of projects. There were all projects though, but you didn't have a lot of projects in some of the cities. So I think that, I had a front yard, I had a yard in the backyard, I had a yard, driveway, and a house, you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't rock about riding the subway and the projects. I ain't lived no projects, you know what I'm saying? So you had to be more creative. I think that was one of the things that was inspiring me. You had to be more creative because you had to find a way to stand out.
That's right.
We had Long Island people that try to front like, you was born in Brooklyn, you moved to Long Island when you was 1, but you claim Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? But you're not really from Brooklyn.
How we grew up.
You grew up in Long Island. You spent all your life, all your school years in Long Island. So, but they would rep Brooklyn to get, like you said, to get a deal and get shows in the city.
That's right. That's the way it was. We couldn't say we were from Long Island, even though, the guys that I mentioned, DJ Nelson PR, DJ Pearl, The Mechanic, DJ Pleasure, and Spectrum, the original Spectrum, CA the DJ. Those guys worked just like those dudes in the city did, and they created and planted the seed. Still never got any recognition.
And then when all the artists, it was funny because when they were giving Long Island the respect, they had to come to the Long Island College radio stations though. They had to come to Radio Hofstra. They had to come to BAU. I think Westbury had a smaller radio station that you could hear around the campus, but not too far from that.
Yeah.
But they had to come to that. So all those artists and everybody, one of them Cali artists and all of them, they came to Long Island.
Yep.
But Long Island was still not looked at as a place for hip hop though. But you had to come here to do your promotion though. So.
Well, I remember Kumo D and the Treacherous 3 coming to SUNY Westbury and then being on the radio station the day of.
Mo D went to Westbury.
Right. Yeah. Right. But I remember the first time they performed there.
Yeah.
We started recording. They were on the radio station prior to that and giving Long Island a bunch of love, and they were from Harlem. But yeah, to your point, they did come out and do their thing here on Long Island. There was nothing right here. So.
Right. So the 23rd, Dobbs Ferry. I'm telling everybody they can hear me to come there. But there are other dates. Do you want to share any of the other dates too?
I do. The main one that I want to share is the Long Island Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame is rolling out the red carpet for us on Saturday. When I say us, I mean that our documentary, The Long Island Underground Legends of Hip Hop, at the Long Island Music Hall of Fame, which you're very familiar with, and they are very familiar with JVC for us, of course, big fans of yours. But they are rolling it out, throwing us a party after the showing of the film. There's going to be some performances and things like that. I don't have a time for that yet, but I do have a date. The date will be coming soon, maybe in another few days. Excuse me, the time will be coming in another few days. But I do know it's going to be on a Saturday night on September 26th.
Right.
And excuse me, after that, we're going to head to Charlotte, North Carolina, and then we head to the Cannes Film Festival.
Oh wow, you going to cons? All right,
Yeah,
that's what's up.
the cons independent in January.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, going in 2022. Oh yeah, so it's not just your regular documentary, ladies and gentlemen. This is not, and I didn't create this to, what I did create it for was to give us some recognition that, that JVC Force and the rest of us so rightfully deserve. But I created it because it chronicles the pioneering era before the artists, that how it was created. We know about Kool Herc. We know about Africa Bambaataa, right? We know about DJ Hollywood in Harlem and the Disco Twins and Queens and everybody that followed them. But you don't know who the JVC Force followed. And that's what this documentary is all about.
Right. And I said, in addition to those that you highlight, you are one of those that inspired me. So I'm gonna keep saying that. Like, y'all don't know how dope this dude was as an MC, and he used to do the speed rap.
Well, you say was. I'm sorry. I'm still.
My bad. But to me, I'm talking about then. To me, though,
yes, sir.
Like that's you don't know how dope. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, we was really like, yo, like, you had some real talent coming out of Long Island, and people just didn't know. And unfortunately, like the era being what it was, it's a shame that y'all didn't get a chance to do records.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? Like, y'all, the world should know who you are. Seriously, the world should have known who you are. And this documentary, for the people like you, the people that came before you, for all of them, I think this documentary gives a chance for the world to know those names that they don't know now. And I encourage everybody. You like the artists, you like EPMD, you like Public Enemy, you like De La Soul, you like Biz Markie, Keith Murray, K Solo, Leaders of the New School, JVC Force,
Craig Mack,
Sons of Berserk, Craig Mack. You like any of those groups, Rakim. Oh, I didn't say Rakim. You like any of those groups, these are the people who inspired them. This is what led up to them. Without the people in this documentary, most of those people that I just named, including us, might not exist. You understand what I'm saying? So I just want to nail that home.
Thank you for that.
From somebody who's been inspired by that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm so excited about this documentary. So for all my Westchester people, Sunday, August 23rd, yes. I think you said 2:30, Dobbs Ferry. I'm gonna have the flyer all over. This is gonna be on Black Westchester. It's also gonna be on my Substack. I'm gonna put this on my YouTube channel. The flyer is gonna be everywhere. Most of y'all are probably tired of me because I've texted you about 4 or 5 times the flyer and the link so you can buy your tickets. So
yes, sir.
And you're gonna get it like 4 more, 5 more times before this.
Yeah. So, tickets are selling too. Yeah.
Yes. So. Because somebody called me yesterday, was like, "Oh, I didn't get my ticket. I hope they're not sold out." I said, "Here's the link. Don't wait.
Hurry up. Don't wait."
Yeah. So everybody, the 23rd, come through, support a good documentary. Come through, support me. See my story. What inspired me. Yeah. Yep. So, and then for those that travel, because there are people who travel, we have been asked to perform in the September. At the Hall of Fame for that screening. So
absolutely,
you wanted for those, and I'll have much more on that as we get closer. I was on the phone with B-Love today. We're working out all the particulars and everything.
That's cool.
But people that be like, yo, let me know when you're gonna do something in New York again. I want you to come to this screening here in Westchester, but also if you want to see us perform, I'll let you know when the date and the time and everything is in Long Island. So
yes, sir, AJ. Absolutely.
Any last words about this? Anything I didn't ask you? Anything you want people to know? Any shout out to anybody we didn't shout out? DJ Bilal, shout out.
Well, if I can go down the list when it comes to shout outs.
Please do.
I want to thank, just in short, I want to thank all of the legendary DJs and rappers from Long Island that grew up on Long Island during this era. I want to thank you for being a part of this. I traveled to Florida and Atlanta, of course, North Carolina, Virginia, Long Island, and even parts of the Bronx and Brooklyn, all over the 5 boroughs, in Texas, to find these guys or to communicate, coordinate with these guys to be a part of it. When you knock on their door and say, "Hey, listen, I'm building this documentary. It's going to be all about you." They couldn't believe it. And It's a really impactful film, and it's making its way around the world. And I want everybody at home to see it, and you will be impressed. You are going to be impressed by what this project is all about, and you're going to know it's going to be something that that you missed all these times and all through all these years of you growing up listening to hip hop. How Long Island was skipped over through all of this.
The untold story of the underground in the beginning, the origin of Long Island.
Underground. It's an original idea that no one has ever thought about. Of course, somebody's going to do it now, I'm sure. But
even the other documentaries, they talk about the artists that made records. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They don't talk about what that's what makes yours different. It talks about the origin of, it tells the story of how it came to be, and the different locations, the different parks, and people are talking about seeing this DJ here and this, that, and the other, and it's really amazing.
Yeah, and on Instagram, like I say, and if you want to hear me getting down, AJ said I was. If you want to hear me from last week, a month ago, several weeks ago, a year ago, go to Instagram at Long Island Hip Hop Film, at Long Island Hip Hop Film, and search for those videos and listen to me get down with Biz Markie and all the rest of those guys. And you were like, oh crap.
Yes,
we really did miss out on this, right? So
and that's it right there, going across the screen right now. Yeah, so yeah. I forgot to put that up. So I was like, yo, I had set all this up and I'm like, yo. So I'm telling everybody, please come out August 23rd, Dobbs Ferry, The Look, the theater 30. Again, you'll see flyers and you'll see all over social media. Get your tickets now. My group JBC is in it. I am in it, and I will be speaking at the panel afterwards. So for all those people that say, tell them when I'm going to do something in Westchester. This is it.
This is it, right? So your Instagram was just, again, it's the correction on that is at Long Island Hip Hop Film. At Long Island Hip Hop Film. That's the Instagram.
Oh, not Legend.
No, Legends is not included in the IG. It's at Long Island Hip Hop Film because Legends was already taken, but they're not really Legends.
Long Island
at Long Island Hip Hop Film.
Okay,
you go there and get some information on the showings here, especially at the one in in Harlem and in Dobbs Ferry. All that information is there, and of course you can hear some dope MCs. I really want people to look at the one with me and Biz, which is right before you got sick. How we used to get when we were kids. How I showed him how to get down, do it on the mic when we were kids. So that's what's really folks in Europe saw that and was like, man, what in the world is this?
Yeah, and again, rest in peace, Biz. Biz meant so much to me, so many people. And rest in peace. So I had just linked up with Groove. There's an organization out here that he is down with, and they were having some kind of fundraiser type thing, and they were honoring a few people, and I was there to introduce one of the people being honored.
Right. And
we saw each other and was like, yo, we hadn't seen each other since really like the 90s.
Right.
And we linked up, exchanged numbers. We was talking about, collaborating on some stuff and everything. And months later he passed. I mean, I was glad I was able to link up with him, took some flicks, talked a few times on the phone. But the moral of the story is you always think, okay, we're gonna do something in the future, or we got time, and now there ain't no more time. So you know what I'm saying? So that's why I appreciate that you captured him in here. And that's the importance of capturing Biz, who again now is not around with us.
Yeah, I mean, I got him. He was my first interview. I told him I was doing. He said, "Okay, let's do it right now." So
that sounded like Biz.
Yeah, so we did it right then, and then a year later, I started picking up everybody else. But that was after he passed.
Yeah,
so rest in peace.
So shout out to them. Shout out to all the legends, all the people that inspired us. Again, and props to you for putting this together, for taking on this endeavor. And putting it together. With that, I'm going to close out again with another one of the trailers.
Community, September 18, 1982. Nelson PR is the name on there.
I would be playing in any part, and Nelson and his crew would show up When he showed up, we showed out.
It was the battle of DJ Pleasure versus DJ Nelson, and there were always massive events.
Those two DJs are responsible for starting hip-hop on Long Island.
Hip hop was an inner city thing that kind of grew outwards. And, you know, Long Island was one of the outer bounds of where it grew to.
Brentwood, Patchogue, Bellport, Coram, Gordon Heights.
My father, Joseph Davis, a.k.a. The Mechanics, the Mechanics owned Eastern Long Island. It was just us, period.
The Mechanic would get on first, and then I was like the second part of the show.
We used to go to the Mechanics parties, go to the Pearls parties. We started having battles in the Holiday Inn in Riverhead.
This is Gordon Heights Park, and everybody would come from all around to see what we was doing.
Riverhead, Southampton, Bridgeham.
I don't care if it was Greenport, Long Island.
Once you hit Suffolk County, the fact that the music made it out that far had to be all word of mouth.
It was crazy because a lot of the girls that I knew or I was dating, they're like, what you going out there for? There ain't no black people out there. You're gonna be the only black person out there, watch.
1, 2, 3, 4, hit it!
For the first 25 years of hip hop, when hip hop began, it was controlled by the 4 boroughs.
Hello.
If you weren't from one of those 4 boroughs, New York looked at you as, well, you can't rap.
Fly like a bird up in the sky. Watch this.
The fact that we were from Long Island, they wouldn't offer us a deal, basically because we were not from the boroughs.
No one really paid us any attention. They didn't count us in. They still don't count us in.
The idea that we were from Long Island, we had a bit of a statement to make.
And I'm sorry to tell you, guys from the city, we didn't get that from you.
To this day, Wyandanch Park is like the unofficial Apollo Theater for hip hop.
And this is like the birthplace of hip hop on Long Island.
I knew that my battleground would have to be here. Even coming up with my man DJ Doc.
All the DJs from towns would be in the park playing their music.
Nothing but respect when they leave here, because now it's like, oh man, this is a borough. This is the 6th borough right here.
And when I was playing, that's where Rakim got his exposure. So it was Cool Breeze and the Love Brothers.
It's a spot called Amityville A Center, Commerce Boulevard. This is the mecca of Long Island hip hop.
The A Center was an epic place for anybody.
We could get on the mic and go with the best of them, and we knew it.
Rob Barnes, the Untouchables, and all of them, they came with the sound system.
The B.O.B. crew, B.O.B. crew, and the Triple Threat MCs.
Actually, my origin of being introduced to hip hop was Amityville, Long Island, New York.
I was raised in Amityville, moved to Central Islip, and cruise out and CI doing it when I moved out there.
The CI pride is serious. That term of living in CI, who the hell am I?
DJ Pleasure, he showed me a few tricks of the trade. It was Kevin Drayton and his crew.
Central Islip,
and all of Suffolk County come through.
Fine. Living in CI, who the hell am I?
Now, I don't know if you ever heard of Brentwood, but let me tell you something. There's some wild motherfuckers there.
I am standing at Regis Park.
There were so many crews, and we all had our little cliques, and we all had our little thing. But
we had the East Side crew.
And we had over there in Regis Park, and we all had our thing going on. And
when people came out to see us do what we did, the appreciation level was like no other.
That's how we all collected together, playing at the parties out there, White Flash.
It was me, Tony Holiday, Michael Watts. The South Shore Express was formed in '79.
And we're here at 510 South Franklin, Hempstead. There was just like so much music coming out of there.
You were bound to see anybody that was a part of hip hop.
At the Roosevelt Youth Center, that was the Mecca.
Oh, Roosevelt was heavy. We had the city dudes coming out here.
And I didn't even know that that's what was going on, but I was a part of it.
This is our story. If we don't tell it correctly, then someone else is going to come in.
Yeah, I just wanted to give them that last look going out. This is what you can expect. This is just a sample of some of the dopeness that is on this documentary that tells the origin of Long Island hip hop. So real hip hop heads, and you just love music and hip hop and you love the history of stuff, you're going to really enjoy this. And I implore everybody to come out August 23rd, Dobbs Ferry, 2:30. And any last words, my brother?
Yeah, just to go on your point again, you don't want to miss this while it's in New York. You don't want to miss it because you're going to have to wait until it comes back again. So get your tickets, look at this, and draw your own conclusions from it and see the history that you've been missing. It's a fantastic film.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with that, we out. I'll see you on the 23rd. Peace.
Thank you for watching another Blacktastic episode of the People Before Politics show. Sunday Rundown, powered by Black Westchester Magazine. We appreciate every single one of you who tuned in, commented, shared the stream, and joined the conversation. Your support is the reason independent Black media continues to thrive and speak truth without fear. Every week, we show up to bring clarity, accountability, and real community insight to the stories that matter. And you show up with us. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or X, we want you to know that your voice, your engagement, and your presence make this platform stronger. Thank you for rocking with Damon K. Jones, AJ Woodson, and Larnez Kinsey as we break down the issues that many outlets ignore. And thank you for supporting a space where Black thought, Black leadership, and Black truth-telling still matter.